Hello, Kindred Spirits, and welcome to my spiritual oasis. Here, weary souls come to find inner wisdom and peace. Today, we're going to be doing messages you need to hear, guided messages about healing and personal growth is really going to be the focus today. So if we have other types of messages that come through, that's fine, but our focus is going to be on messages you need to hear around like healing and growth and that sort of vibe. So we have 3 different guiding energies for our groups today. So we have our crystal energy in this group number 1, a botanical energy in group number 2, and we have our essential oil energy for group number 3. So pause the video here if you need a moment to meditate on which group you feel like has your message. Keep in mind that your message could be a combination of a couple of different groups. So if you are feeling pulled to a couple of different groups, feel free to watch those groups as well. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the crystal energy to be your guiding energy. So let's flip our card and see who our messenger is. So we have rainbow obsidian. Is this not a super beautiful crystal? So beautiful. Wow. Okay. Heal your heart is our guiding message today. So let's actually start with tarot first. Get some tarot messages. Heal your heart. You know, I'm getting the message here. It's going beyond just like love. I don't think it's just like romantic love. I'm feeling again that very personal, intimate, self-value type of conversation. Some of you may have recently been wounded, I'm feeling, in this area. Maybe even having like problems with family, things like that. I'm getting messages. I'm getting all kinds of messages. So let's see what our tarot energy is today. So we have the 4 of shells, soul searching. We have love, justice, 6 of crystals, and the king of acorns. Wow. Well, I can say off the bat that yes, there's some deep wounds I'm feeling here. Some I'm getting someone close to you violated trust, violated your confidence. For some of you, that felt like a very specific message to someone. Okay, so in our 4 of shells energy, definitely that soul searching. Like I said, I feel like the heal your heart isn't necessarily connected to romance. Like we pull the love card, but I'm getting the love more on this idea of like trusting choices, trusting in your choices, trusting that you have choices, you have options in life, that your life does not have to be what fate has determined it to be. That your life is about like finding your destiny, finding your destined path, and not allowing fate to guide you in all sorts of different directions. Like, so fate is life on autopilot. And I'm getting the message here that you're some of you are feeling like kind of lost, like you don't know which way is going to be the most fruitful way for you. And I do see here in the Justice card that the truth and that clarity is coming to you very, very soon. Like as you're on this soul sojourn, I feel like it's that stepping back and that inquiry that's really going to move you in the direction that you need to go. So in the Six of Crystals here, I am getting this sense of like connection or camaraderie with others, like developing a really solid friend group. And I feel like, our Six of Crystals energy, crystal energy is pentacle energy, that earth energy. And the Six of Crystals is about generosity. And I feel like the message here is that you could be on the receiving end or you could be the person being generous. And I'm getting the message here that you need to be on the receiving end of that. And to me, that's really just about reaching out to your support, your loved ones, the people that care about you and want the best for you, and leaning on them for the support, for the emotional support that you need. And understanding that when we are on these sojourns, like, it's important to understand and to know and to feel deep inside of ourselves that we are not alone. We are not by ourselves in this. We have people that love us, that care about us, that have our best interests in their hearts. And that is what we lean on. That is our guiding promise for all of this. So as we move through this existence. So this idea of synergy, again, connecting with other people, and then just being grateful for that support, because not everybody has that support. I have a really strong family and friend group. And sometimes I do in some ways take it for granted until I think some people really honestly do not have this type of love and this type of support. Just knowing that you have people there behind you is really, it's just uplifting to me. It just feels good and it just makes me smile and makes me so happy to know that I have groups of people around me that really care about me and that come together for me. So we have the King of Acorns, which to me, this could represent a person that's going to help you on your journey. Sun, Moon, rising in a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. Doesn't necessarily have to, but I feel like the energy is going to be there. And that energy is really going to be someone who strongly encourages you to be optimistic and to tap into your creative endeavor. Someone who's really going to support your creative energies. And I find that our life path is often found when we are indeed tapping into that creative energy. And I feel like that's the truth because creativity is unique to all of us, even if you don't feel like you are a particularly creative person. I'm specifically thinking about some of our fixed signs, some of our air signs who might be more logical. You might not think that you have creativity. And I feel like it's important to expand the definition of creativity. It's not just the fine arts, right? Art and, fine art where you're drawing and painting, sculpture and all of that stuff. It's not just that. It's also words. It is speaking. It is thought generation. It is advocacy. There's so many different ways to tap into our creative energy. The list is seriously just could keep going and going and going there. And I feel like that's kind of the message for you in general, is to not limit yourself to preconceived ideas of what things are and to challenge definitions of what things are. Like, what is creativity and how can you tap into that? And I feel like that's what the King of Acorn energy is all about. So whether that manifests in a person or whether that is the energy that you end up taking on, just this idea of innovation and innovating your life, thinking about things from a new perspective, challenging your preconceptions about your life and the direction that your life is going right now. Okay, so we had the crow twice. I find that or maybe this is the raven. I can't tell. That's probably not good, but true. So we have the crow spirit, co-create with spirit. And I feel like that's a lot of our conversation as well. Like my beginning conversation about just this idea of getting off the path of fate and getting on the path of destiny. And I feel like that's the co-create with spirit. Again, your spirit in combination with spirit in the beginning before it all created your destined path. And I feel like you are on your sojourn to finding that. And, you know, don't give up. It's there. It is there. And it will answer a lot of questions for you as you discover what that means and what that looks like for you. And then we have the rhino spirit, overcome any obstacle. The thing that I really love about this animal spirit is that it really talks about how to tackle obstacles, how to overcome obstacles. And when we look at our rhino, you know, we probably think charge through, blast through any obstruction. And though that is a way, that's an option, I feel like our rhino spirit also challenges us to think about approaching things in different ways. So with this 5 energy here, like the 5 energy can be kind of tense energy, conflicting energy in many different ways. And I feel like sometimes we do need to just, you know, go head first into an obstacle and plow it out of our way. But many times there are many other ways of overcoming obstacles. We can go around the obstacle. We can go over the obstacle. We can go under the obstacle. Insert creative idea here, right? So there's so many different ways to approach these various different obstacles, and it doesn't just have to be plowing through. So keeping that in mind as you go through life and are introduced to various different potential obstacles. Then we have in the calendula, we have brighten. So that just really reminds me of the sun energy. This idea of a brightness, of light. And to me, that also speaks to like enlightenment and clarity of mind and clarity of spirit. So I do again feel like it might be arduous as you go through the steps, as you're searching for your path. I feel like it might be an arduous journey, and you might even feel like you're maybe not moving as fast or going in the right direction sometimes. But I feel like this idea of like following the light, and I feel like it's the light inside of yourself. Again, that co-creation with spirit, following the light inside yourself, spending time to learn your inner voice, so that when things get rowdy inside of your mind, you can hear that voice, often soft, often calm, often joyous, not filled with fear, not filled with angst or anxiety. But this voice is often like very calm, because if you think about it, the voice doesn't have any reason to be stressed out, because that voice, that soft soul spiritual voice, knows the outcome of your journey already. And they know that it is right where you belong. They know that it is peaceful. They know that it will bring joy. It will bring peace. It will bring, it will be fulfilling to you. So that voice, you know, if you're hearing screams and just anxiety, that is not your spiritual voice speaking to you. Just keep that in mind as you go along your journey. And the more time you spend in spirit, the more time you spend with your own spirit and your own energy, the more you are going to truly understand that as the truth, and know what your voice sounds like in all of it. And I feel like that message for me alone was a lot, because sometimes things get rowdy in there. They start rattling around and getting anxious about certain things and events, and when life inevitably changes and transforms and morphs, because we know that is what life is all about. It's all about change and transformation. Sometimes it gets rowdy upstairs and we get anxious about things, and it's just understanding that this is just a part of the process. And it's almost like being ready to kind of go with the flow, to switch things up, that even if you are fixed, so my sun sign is a fixed sign, so I do get a little anxious when things switch up. I feel like I'm better when things are gradual, but we know that sometimes our change and transformation is in form of like the death card, where I feel like it is a very death extends her hand, takes your hand, moves you on into the next phase. It feels very gradual. There are often very sound and clear endings, and it's very peaceful. And then there are tower changes and transformations in life where it's like, boom, that's done. We are moving on to something else, and you have to adjust to it very quickly. So, I think it's just like also understanding how you function and how you work with change, and then kind of adjusting accordingly. Like if you're a little bit more anxious when things go quickly, just kind of create a spiritual and emotional grounding exercise or ritual around that transformative energy or transformation time to help you. So you have a plan in place if that occurs. And I feel like that will relieve some of the anxiety too. And then we have a wormwood. So in our wormwood, it's this idea of caution. And I feel like the caution is kind of where you're at. So again, with this idea of healing your heart, I feel like you are very cautious right now. I feel like you are afraid to go in the wrong direction, to take the wrong step, to make the wrong decision. And the message that I have with that is when you are in spirit, when you are walking in spirit, when you are walking in your purpose and your truth, you can't make a wrong decision. Even if you quote unquote make a wrong decision, you will find your way back to your destined path if you stay, as long as you are staying connected to spirit and your purpose. So I feel like this idea of wormwood, this idea of caution also reminds me of discernment and exercising your tool of discernment. Because discernment is about being able to determine whether or not something is for you or not. And I use this example a lot when I'm talking about romantic love readings. This idea of just in general, whether romantic love or not, just in life in general, if we put up a wall around ourselves, which I feel like we often do, it's a defense mechanism, but that's the idea. It's defense mechanism. It actually comes when the attack is already there, and we have no time to come up with another response. So we put up our walls. But what discernment is discernment is the gate in your wall. So it's good to protect yourself, boundary setting, boundaries with people, and, where you're willing to go and where you're not willing to go, and where you're willing to allow people to go and where you're not willing to allow people to go. Boundaries are important. So those are the walls of our castle, if you are with me on this analogy. And then the second part of that is the gate. So you can't get anything in your walls. You can't get any of your supplies, right? Any of the things that are going to nurture you, that are going to grow you, those really positive friends and loving connections. You can't get any, you can't receive any of the good stuff if you keep everything out. So that's what our discernment is, the gate into our castle walls. And what discernment is it looks at things from a distance. So before something gets inside, it's like a filter. So we are looking at things as they approach, when they get closer and closer and closer, and we are determining whether or not whatever this thing or person or place or situation is, if this is going to be positive for us or not. And this is a muscle in many ways, a tool for us. And in that way, it takes some practice. It takes some practice doing it many, many, many times in order to get it down. And I feel like really trusting your intuition, trusting your gut on these things is a really good way to develop a really strong power of discernment. And this comes naturally for some people, and for some people it's a little bit more challenging to exercise this muscle. And I feel like this is related to pretty much anything in life in general. Some things come to us more easy than others, and just to keep that in mind. But this idea of practicing discernment, and I feel like this is really connected to this idea of healing your heart and not being afraid to allow things into your life by developing your power of discernment and understanding that it's a learning process. And sometimes you will succeed, and sometimes, especially in the beginning, there will be some failures. And it's this idea of forgiveness, like forgiving yourself when you make a mistake and learning from it. Like forgiveness is all about like moving on, like moving forward. If we dwell on the like, oh, that one time we let that horrible person in our castle walls and they caused havoc, like, yeah, like acknowledge that happened, figure out what you missed in the discernment process and move forward. You can't dwell on that stuff because life is going to continue to move forward. And if we're living in the past, we're not living in the present, and we're certainly not heading towards our future. So we're going to go ahead and continue into the final thoughts of our conversation today. So we have 2 essential oil energies today. So we have Roman chamomile. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is so for a number of people. So the key word for Roman chamomile is this idea of destiny, and we spent a lot of time talking about destiny today. So the trigger statement is I am lost. The trigger statement to me is really like the negative energy, the negative repeats that we say in our head over and over again. So by saying I am lost, I am lost, I am lost, the answer to that question, the truth to that is I do what I love. And we talked about that as well with our King of Acorns energy, this idea of tapping into your creative energy, tapping into doing things that when you are doing them, you literally look up and hours have passed and you didn't even feel it. Like that's when you know you are truly in alignment with what you love, and you're in love with what you are doing and how you are spending your precious time. So there is a path waiting for you. Open your heart and mind so you can use it on your journey of fulfillment. We spent so much time talking about destiny today, and I feel like this is just the Spirit telling us that we are on the right track here. Feel free to use some of these essential oils to help you in manifesting your destiny, or helping you connect closer with your destiny for this one. And then in Spearmint, the key word here is about conviction. So the lie that we tell ourselves is no one listens to me, but the truth of it is that my voice is heard. And your voice cannot be heard if you do not use your voice. So I feel like this is a message to somebody, this idea of communication. So stand strong and communicate your message. The world is ready to receive what you have to share. So I mentioned earlier in our reading this idea of creativity coming in many different shapes and forms. And I do feel like for some of you, especially with this message here, that your calling is in the realm of, I want to say like air. So communication, like if your Mercury is placed in an air sign, so Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. But I feel like this idea of communication, this idea of using your voice or using your words to advocate for yourself and to help other people, I feel like is just a really strong message that's coming through. This idea of communication and understanding that, you know what, this is a skill as well. So if communication isn't something that comes naturally to you, so I feel like there are the people that have the gift of gab, and just communication and talking and all of that stuff comes really easy to them. And I feel like there are the rest of us. I do include myself in that category. But really, it's about practicing. And when you are communicating, when you're talking, when you're writing, act like you're talking to your best friend. I feel like when we're talking to our best friend, we don't have that same type of anxiety and anxiousness around communication. We just communicate, and if we mess up, whatever, they're our friends and they love us anyway, that sort of thing. So I feel like coming to it in a more like relaxed approach will help you to at least start to develop your communication style and the things that you want to say. So these are the messages that I have channeled for you today, group number 1. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, make sure to drop a comment and let me know it resonated. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as liking my Facebook page and checking out my Etsy shop where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. Thanks again for spending time with me today, beautiful soul, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Botanical card to guide your message today, so we're going to go ahead and flip it over. Okay, so we have Foxglove, keyword connection for your guiding energy. Go ahead and move her up here. We're going to go ahead and just start with our tarot here. See what messages we have coming through for you. Okay, so we already had the Knight of Shells pop out. I'm getting potential love energy coming through already, right away, right off the bat. So let's see what other messages we have for you, group number 2. What messages do we have for our group number 2? Oh, okay. Well, I've got cards folding over for some reason. Okay, and falling all over the place. Two of Shells. Wow, okay. Intensely love everywhere, love in the air. I know. I can be a lot sometimes. It's okay. All right, and one more. 2 more, actually. Okay, so we have... Ooh. All right, so we have our Knight of Shells, our 2 of Shells. We have our Knight of Acorns. A lot of Knight energy. Could be talking about multiple suitors for some of you. In water or air signs. Water or fire signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. And then we have the Traveler, which is the Fool energy, and then the Awakening, which is that it's about renewal, enlightenment. Yeah, so I'm definitely feeling strong love vibe messages for some of you with the Knight of Shells, the 2 of Shells, and even the Knight of Acorns. I feel like with the Traveler that this love connection, this love relationship can definitely be like a new adventure that you're embarking on and have a lot of potential. I'm feeling like with the Awakening energy that this love relationship is like a divine connection. And it is going to be a very welcome renewal of energy. I'm feeling a lot of action, a lot of drive. We've got harmony. We've got passion. So if this indeed, the love message is really resonating with you, I'm getting really positive vibes about it. If a romantic love connection is not necessarily what you're vibing with here, I also see this idea of connecting emotionally with your passions, connecting emotionally with a sense of adventure. So with our Knight of Acorns and our Traveler energy connected together, I feel like you taking action towards your passions, towards the things that bring you joy, creative endeavors, and just really moving with a sense of purpose to connect more with your emotional energy, so your water energy, and your passionate energy, your fire energy. And I feel like blending those things together and connecting those things is really going to bring, it's going to awaken your spiritual power more. It's going to be a moment of enlightenment. It's going to be a moment of renewal for you. And I feel like uniting those energies is actually going to create a really strong, really powerful, just like sense of purpose for you. And I feel like that's you getting on your destined path and really connecting to your destiny in that way. So definitely two strong messages, but it is definitely about connection. It's definitely about union and unifying that water and fire energy. So that could be, again, it could manifest in a romantic relationship, and or it could manifest in discovering and connecting with your passion, connecting your emotional energy and your passionate drive energy with your creative energy, and all of these things, any of these things will create enlightened, renewed energy for you. Ooh, so we've got the peacock energy. Let it shine. I don't know why that came. Oh my gosh. And we also had the lizard energy that popped out. Dream the world into being. I think that is so beautiful. That message is it just connects so well. This idea of dreaming, and dream the world into being, to me is like whatever limiting beliefs that you have, limiting thoughts that you have, leave all of those things at the door. They have no place here. They have no place here. And I'm really feeling hard for you that, I feel like this connection. So like water and fire are not meant to coexist, but in love, they do. Love is made up of many things, but I feel like two of the primary energies in love is water and fire energy. It's that emotional energy and that passion energy, and they come together and they manifest in love. So whether that be, again, a romantic situation or in a passionate, creative type of energy. So I feel like dreams to me are made of, it just reminds me of like labradorite, magic. And to me, dreams are connection. It's like our conscious mind resting. And when our conscious mind rests, our subconscious mind, like the inner workings of ourselves, gets to connect with our true desires, gets to connect with spirit directly in that time of conscious rest. And those dreams are really like us processing life, I feel like, in general. This idea of processing life, and I feel like this lizard energy with the dream the world into being with our peacock spirit, let it shine, and then the Knight of Acorn energy and adventure. I feel like all of these energies are coming together. They are connecting, they are blending, they are bonding and binding together to really create a rich existence for you to thrive in. This is what I'm getting. Thriving. We're not just living here. We are thriving. And I really feel like you needed to hear that that message. Thrive. And that's what's going to help. That's what's going to happen when we start connecting all of these energies together. So we have a burdock, keyword tenacity. And that tenacity is really just having grit, like holding on and pushing forward is what I'm kind of getting here. So it's like having sticking power, having staying power. So if you have a hard time seeing something through, I'm feeling like this message is for you. This idea of sticking through and digging your teeth into something and then moving forward and pushing it forward, and not kind of starting and stopping and going here and going there and being very scattered. So I am feeling this idea of kind of sticking with something and seeing it through, seeing its potential. Again, so if you're kind of like someone who starts something, gets bored and quits, I feel like the challenge for you moving forward here is going to be sticking something out and seeing where it could actually go. Of course, that there's a fine line between sticking something out and then kind of wasting your time. But I'm getting the message very specifically for some of you that you start stuff and you quit it way too soon and you move on to something else because of boredom. And I feel like the message here is like, see where it can go. And I feel like some of that quitting, that starting and stopping energy is because you're afraid of failure. So if you stop doing it, you can't fail at it. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes any sense. But I feel like you'll never see the true potential of something. You will never see the true potential of someone unless you give them or that thing an opportunity to actually like fruit. It's like planting a garden and then coming back 2 days later, and if there aren't any sprouts, you walk away and say this was a waste of time. It's like, no, you have to stick it out. It's going to take time for the seeds and the earth and the water and all the different elements to come together and to sprout the plant. And then after it sprouts, and it has to grow, and after it grows, then it can fruit. So there are stages to it that you have to like stick it through to see the positive outcome, that positive energy. So we do have cohosh here, which the key word for cohosh is repel. And I feel like it's talking about, I feel like that in relationship to this idea of connectivity is talking about like the power of discernment. And I feel like the power of discernment is also connected to knowing when to move on. Because like I said, sometimes things just aren't working and we either have to move on or we have to pivot and basically find a different way, find a different approach on how to achieve whatever that thing is. So I feel like repel is about, repelling the things that aren't working for us and moving on from them, whether that be relationships or endeavors or whatever. Also thoughts as well. Repelling negative thoughts, repelling thoughts that aren't serving us, repelling the lies that are in our head, all of that stuff, to me, is also connected to these conversations as well. So we have calming, which is about acceptance. So keyword is acceptance. And the lies that we tell ourselves, I cannot trust anyone. Maybe that's why you're struggling to connect. You don't feel like you can trust anyone. The true statement is that everyone deserves my love. I open my heart to heal and release. I open myself to the peace of divine love and grace. Again, discernment. If you're afraid to love, if you're afraid to open your heart and love in any way, it doesn't necessarily have to be just romantic love, any kind of love. If you're afraid to love, if you're afraid to open your heart, I feel like the message again is discernment. Having that gate that filters people in and filters people out, and not feeling like nothing can come in. We have to keep all of it out. No, we want the good stuff to come in. We want the bad stuff to stay out. We want to repel that energy. And we have to build up our power of discernment in order to do that in a way that is going to benefit us on all sides. And then we have wild orange. The key word for that is good fortune. So I just feel like abundance comes to mind. With that, sun energy comes to mind. The Wheel of Fortune energy comes to mind with this. So our trigger statement is, what's the point? And the truth of the matter is that I attract abundance. Yeah, I said abundance. I didn't even see the word yet. Yep, I attract abundance. That's the point. That's why we affirm, like when we have our affirmations and we speak positivity in our life, we think positivity in our life, because that is what manifests. Spirit is listening to your heart, is listening to your thoughts, your mind, is listening to your desires. So don't speak things into existence that you do not want in your life. Feel the joy you would have once. Feel the joy you would have once you have reached your goals. Here and now. You will achieve your dreams fastest that way. So it's just like imagining the outcome, imagining what the fruit is going to taste like once that, that seed has blossomed into a harvest. Imagine it in exquisite detail. Our imaginations are extraordinary. So use that as a tool for you to imagine the life that you want. So we have Amazonite, loosen your grip. I feel like that's really interesting next to tenacity, which we're talking about grabbing onto something. But of course, life is all about balance. So sometimes we need to loosen our grips, and sometimes we need to strengthen our grips. And I feel like it's all balance in that way. And then we have aragonite, which is a release your emotional baggage. Again, we kind of already talked about that in our essential oil card here on calming. But this idea of releasing. So if something is in your heart area already, then something better cannot be in there. If something negative is in there, something positive can't live in there. So releasing that, releasing yourself of that is really going to be where you really build a strong, positive connection to life, and you're able to have abundance in your life and in your world. So these are the messages that I have channeled for you today, group number 2. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, make sure to drop a comment and let me know where it resonated. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as liking my Facebook page and checking out my Etsy shop, where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. Again, I appreciate you spending time and energy with me today, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the essential oil energy to guide your message today. So we're going to go ahead and flip your card over. So you have petite grain, which the key word for that is independence. Very interesting. Again, we're channeling messages about healing today. And the trigger statement here for this particular essential oil is, I am just like my mother, father, whomever here. And the true statement is, I am free to choose. So this idea of independence, choosing who you are, that you don't necessarily have to be, that statement, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. You don't have to be of the tree that the apple fell from if you don't want to. Like, it's your choice. You are ready to break free of the conditioning that has bound you to that you may continue your journey, so that you may continue your journey of healing and growth. This is your life, not theirs. Your decisions. So it's just, to me, in general, this energy is about taking that power back, reclaiming that power. reclaiming your own power as you move forward in your life, because this is your existence. This is your journey. So I feel like this message could be encouraging some root work to be going on. If you resonated with the family difficulties or the family struggles. But just in general, like taking ownership of your own life, taking control of your own life and getting on your destined path and not the path of fate. So I feel like our fated path is created from family situations. It's created from, these things that we're predisposed to. But our destined path, that is the path that our soul co-created with spirit, with the universe, with God before our existence on this earth. And we should constantly be in search of our destiny, our destined path, and not being a victim to our fated path. Sometimes fate brings good things and sometimes fate brings not so great things. But I feel like in a lot of cases, especially if fate is not in alignment with destiny, we're very confused about where we should be and what's going on in life. And I feel like the message in general is to take ownership of your own existence. So we have in our tarot here, we have Hermit energy, the Traveler, which is Fool energy. We have the Empress, Shaman, and the Page of Shells. So I feel like just in general, a lot of soul searching, a lot of deep digging, a lot of searching for what that destined path looks like, searching for that purpose, converting knowledge into wisdom. This idea of adventure as well, this idea that the life that we live, the path and paths that we venture down as we go through this very organic journey of life is about adventure. It's about beauty, and it's about abundance. This idea of the shaman, that's our Hierophant energy. And again, I'm finding like that wisdom, that spiritual power, that soul searching. So I feel like our hermit and our shaman are kind of speaking the same language here. The Page of Shells energy to me is about, again, that emotional exploration. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of connectivity for you between emotional energies. So that water energy, which also can and probably will include creative endeavors as well, and discovering creative pathways for you to express your energy. And then spirituality. I feel like a lot of your spiritual connection is actually going to come through your emotional and your emotional shell related items and elements here. This idea of inspiration, I feel like, is really key for you, and that the things around you, the people, the places, the activities that you engage in are inspiring and pushing you towards, again, that destined path. I keep getting the message destined. And I feel like our path of destiny is very independent. I feel like this idea of independence is the perfect message to guide our conversation about our destined path, because it is our own. Our destiny, our spiritual growth, our life journey is our life journey. Yes, there are people that are connected to that, but our mom's destiny or our father's destiny is not ours. We have our own destiny that we seek out, and that we, when in alignment, is like the sweet spot of life. It's like when life, that's the abundance, or the abundance of life comes in. And abundance could refer to many things. I feel like it refers to abundance in the earthly planes, if you will. So financial abundance, also abundance in love and life in general. So procreation could be involved in that. also this idea of abundance being spiritual abundance and just feeling like life is rich, just this richness in life, and that finding the beauty in things. You know, things aren't always going to be great, you know. I feel like outwardly, or when you look at it, it's not going to always appear to be beautiful or great. But I feel like I'm just getting the vulture spirit energy here. Like even the bad things can be converted into something beautiful, into a beautiful lesson, into, you know, I feel like scars are really beautiful too. And I feel like there's a story, and just this idea of turning even like a scar into something beautiful. Like I definitely can think of some like actors or just people that have scars, and you're just like, wow, that's kind of attractive. I just feel like it proves that, you know, they've been through life, and we all have, and or we're about to be, you know, as we continue on, as we wake up every day, we are on an adventure. So we have our crow spirit here, keeps coming up today, I feel like, co-create with spirit, and our white raven spirit, which is trust in the magic. I feel like that white raven spirit energy is very much so in alignment with the Empress energy, this idea of abundance, this idea of magic, and this idea of trusting. So I feel like our crow spirit is just really talking about destiny, which we spent a lot of time already on. This idea of magic. So like when we are mixing and blending these elements, so we talk about the elements, fire, water, earth, air, and spirit. We talk about all of these things as if they are separate things. We talk about them as if they are independent things. Really, they are synergetic things. We have all of them playing in our lives at the same time. They mix and they meld and they mesh together and combine. And I feel like when we are co-creating with spirit, those elements are working in our favor, and they're mixing and binding and connecting in a way that is prosperous for us, that is beneficial to us, that brings us abundance and beauty. And when we kind of just like allow that energy to do what it will, when it will, how it will, we run into issue. And I feel like, again, that's when we're not co-creating with spirit, when we're not trusting in the magic that is all around us, that we end up getting back onto the path of fate, which is, of course, you know, I feel like it's very much so connected to our family and the limitations that come with like family and circumstances and that sort of thing as well. So this idea of trust, faith, I feel like is very much so the Fool energy here, or the Traveler energy. This idea of faith comes into place. This idea of trusting comes into place as well. And trusting in divinity, trusting in that divine wisdom, trusting in that divine knowledge to help guide your journey, to guide your path to understanding and prosperity. So we have Shungite, detox your life. Detoxing is so important because when something resides in a space, something else cannot reside in that same space. For example, if you have a not great romantic interest that is taking up the place of romantic interest, of lover, of a partner in your life, there's no room for the positive person, for that soulmate to be in that position and to grow you and build you through life. So detoxification is really important, and it's something that like our bodies do naturally. We obviously can help it along the way by what we eat and what we ingest, what we put in our bodies can help that process, but our bodies naturally detox. We push things out that don't belong in our bodies, and that helps the good stuff to have a place to prosper. And then on our red jasper, the message that I see here is really take action. So it's great to sit here and talk about all the wonderful things that can come to you. But I feel like this idea of adventure is really about doing, taking action, moving forward, making the decision to spend time in spirit, spend time with spirit, to detox your life. It's just, it takes action to do these things. And this idea of choice, of making a choice, making a decision is also action. Choosing something is an action. Choosing to be miserable is an action. Choosing to be happy is an action. Choosing to find your destiny is an action. So we do always have to take actions in our lives in order to receive the fruit of the outcomes of those things. Trust is an action as well. I mean, all of these things I feel like in many ways are action oriented. We have this idea of build coming up, which I feel like is just very much so connected to, in our cattail here, is very much so connected to our conversation around taking action. Building is definitely an action. Building the life that we want is the message that I got off of that. Very strong. Like it came through screaming. And then we have indigo. And our keyword for indigo is enhance. I feel like in general, the things that we add to our life, when we're adding things to our life consciously, mindfully, thinking on things in multiple levels, in a spiritual way, in a more deep way, I feel like these things are enhancing or should enhance our life. And if something is not enhancing our lives, we have to move it along, detox, push it out, get rid of it, reset. And I feel like doing all of that, connecting with spirit, looking at life from an adventurous standpoint, we have to take action. We have to put the things that we wish and that we want and desire out there, through affirmation, through doing things that we love, and really tapping into our creative energy and our calling, our mission. If your calling is to start a talk radio show, then you figure out, you take action and start that talk radio show. You know what I mean? Like, it's really about taking life into your own hands and being an independent thinker, being independent in that it doesn't matter what your mother did, what your father did. It's about what you do, what you want, what you desire out of your life. This is your existence. And I feel like the power is just there for you to take ownership of it, to take control of it, and to really lean into it. So we have clay sage. Keyword is insight. And the lie that we tell ourselves is that there is no hope. But the truth is, there is a higher purpose. I feel like this is definitely connected with our crow spirit here about co-creating with spirit. This idea of a higher purpose. Connect with your higher self. That's really what we've been talking about with the hermit energy and the shaman energy. Connect with your higher self and allow to be guided to your higher purpose, your destiny. As the veil of illusion falls away, you will find your answer. I feel like sometimes the veil of illusion, this idea of the veil of illusion is interesting. And I feel like this veil of illusion is present when we haven't done the work, when we haven't taken action to seek out the knowledge, seek out our purpose. Like, our purpose isn't going to just fall in our lap. It is something that we have to actively pursue. We have to push towards it. We have to find it, struggle to it. It's not just going to fall in our lap. There's going to have to be action taking. There's going to have to be adventure. There's going to have to be some risk in a way to discovering what that is. And then we have a wintergreen, and in our wintergreen, our keyword there is trust. which we've already talked about here in our White Raven Spirit. The trigger statement here is, what if something happens? Yeah, sorry if you can hear that. Someone's car alarm went off. And then the truth is, I take my hands off the wheel. So what if something happens? Right? What if something happens? That's a fearful statement. We don't live in fear, because living in fear, you can't trust. You cannot trust in spirit. You cannot trust in divine energy and a higher purpose if you're just running around afraid all the time. You can't embark on these adventures if you are afraid. So releasing that fear. You are not alone. The universe is working with you. We talked about our idea of co-creation with spirit here. The universe is working with you. Relax and enjoy the adventure. I feel like all of our messages are tying together. That just makes me so happy when our messages are tying together. Makes it just reiterates, I feel like, that we are on the right path as far as our conversation in general. So these are the messages that I have channeled for you today, group number 3. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, make sure to drop a comment and let me know what resonated. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so YouTube lets you know when I upload new content. Also, make sure to check out my Facebook page and my Etsy shop, where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. I appreciate you spending time with me today, beautiful soul, and I will see you in an upcoming video. Bye.